You're watching a Highwire Media podcast. The episode opens with a clever, seemingly lighthearted scene in a museum where Neil Caffrey once again demonstrates his unparalleled skill at sleight of hand and social manipulation. While observing an exhibit, Neil discreetly lifts a museum curator's phone to gain access to private contact info. Why? Because he needs to reach Alexandra Hunter, his former lover, criminal ally, and one of the few people who knows about the location of the mysterious music box. The tone quickly shifts. Neil meets with Alex in secret, and their reunion is fraught with subtext. It's not just flirtation or nostalgia, it's a collision of past choices and current dilemmas. Alex is weary. She hasn't forgotten how dangerous Neil's world is, nor how attached he remains to the missing Kate. Their conversation lays the groundwork for a subplot that threads through the back half of the season. Meanwhile, Peter Burke is leading a surveillance team tracking an insider trading suspect. Things take a sharp turn when the suspect turns up murdered in his luxury apartment, an apparent home invasion gone wrong. Neil and Peter are pulled into the case, which initially seems straightforward. Crime scene is staged to look like a robbery, and the only witness is Pierce Spellman, the suspect's girlfriend, who claims to have hidden during the attack, but nothing in white collar is that simple. Red flags start piling up. Pierce's story has inconsistencies, her reactions are performative, and there's a suspicious lack of surveillance data. As the case unfolds, it's revealed that the murder is tied to a smuggling operation involving stolen jade elephant statues. Rare antiquities with deep cultural significance. The climax sees Neil going undercover to lure out the true culprit while Peter navigates a bureaucratic minefield. In the end, Pierce is exposed as a co-conspirator and the artifacts are recovered. But more importantly, Alex agrees to help Neil with the music box, on her terms. The episode ends on a beautifully ambiguous note. Neil and Peter stand at opposite ends of a metaphorical and a literal hallway. They're partners, but not quite equals. Friends, but not fully trusting. And somewhere in between them is the truth. About the case, about Neil's past, and about what he's willing to risk for answers. So we're going to take a closer look at some of the most notorious characters of the episode, including Neil Caffrey. Between the thief and the hero, Neil's charm is undeniable, but in Home Invasion, we see something rare: vulnerability. His interaction with Alex shows that his search for Kate isn't just romantic, it's compulsive. Neil is someone who can't let go, and that's both his strength and his curse. Alex is fascinating presence because she doesn't beg for Neil's love or try to rekindle old flames. She challenges him. She reminds him who he was before he wore a tracking anklet and solved federal crimes. She represents temptation, not just in a romantic sense, but in a philosophical one. The temptation to abandon the straight and narrow in favor of freedom and control. Neil's duality, the tension between his past and his present, is the most compelling part of his arc. In this episode, the tension tightens. When he lies to Peter about meeting Alex, we see a man slowly unraveling. He's not just chasing justice, he's chasing a version of himself that may no longer exist. And then you have Peter Burke, the silent anchor. Peter doesn't always get flashy moments, but his character is built on quiet, sturdy strength. In Home Invasion, he plays investigator, mentor, and even surrogate big brother. His concern for Neil is palpable, especially when he warns him about Alex. It's not jealousy or mistrust, it's protection. Peter knows that Neil is walking a razor's edge, and when Pierce turns out to be a liar, it validates Peter's instincts. People aren't always what they claim to be. But unlike Neil, Peter doesn't romanticize risk. He sees danger for what it is, and he tries over and over to pull Neil back from the edge. And then you have Alex Hunter, the ghost of Neil's past. Alex is cool, collected, and unapologetically criminal. She's not bound by rules, which makes her alluring to Neil, but threatening to Peter. What makes her especially interesting is that she's not playing a long con here. She has no interest in hurting Neil. She simply refuses to play by the FBI's rules. In her eyes, Neil is trying to conform to a life that was never meant for him. In a different world, Alex and Neil could have been partners in crime forever. That world is gone, and Alex knows it. Her reappearance isn't about rekindling the past. It's about reminding Neil that the past isn't done with him. So now we're going to take a look at some of the themes that were explored during this episode, such as the art of deception. The entire episode is built around illusion. Pierce pretends to be a helpless victim. Neil pretends to be fully committed to the FBI. Alex pretends not to care about Neil's descent into bureaucracy. Everyone is playing a role. Even the art itself. The jade elephants are symbolic. To the smugglers, they're just contraband, but to the cultures they come from, they're sacred. That tension between value and exploitation mirrors Neil's journey. Is he a tool for justice or a man trying to reclaim his value on his own terms? And then we take a look at the past as a prison. Neil is haunted by Kate, by the music box, by a version of himself he can't let go of. Every choice he makes is filtered through that lens. But the past doesn't just follow Neil. Peter, too, struggles with old instincts. He doesn't fully trust Neil because he's seen too many criminals say they've changed. The episode suggests that identity isn't fixed. It's fluid, shaped by choices, loyalty, and love. But breaking from the past, that's harder than stealing jade elephants from a billionaire's vault. And then we have female agency and subversion. Pierce and Alex are opposites. One is a liar wrapped in vulnerability. The other is a thief, cloaked in strength. But both characters use perception to manipulate the men around them. Pierce weaponizes her perceived fragility, while Alex uses confidence as a shield. In a show that often celebrates male cleverness, Home Invasion offers a rare moment where women shape the outcome, not just by seduction, but by strategy. Now we're going to take a look at the style, direction, and production of this episode. Ken Garatti's direction in this episode is sharp, with a deliberate pace that allows attention to simmer without boiling over too quickly. The episode leans on contrast, high-tech FBI surveillance versus Art Deco luxury, Neil's elegant suits versus Peter's workmanlike FBI attire, the warmth of June's brownstone versus the sterile chill of Pierce's apartment. One of the strongest stylistic choices is how the camera frames Neil and Alex. Their scenes are intimate, often using tight shots and dim lighting to evoke secrecy. You feel like you're eavesdropping, and that heightens the emotional impact. Music also plays a subtle role. There's a jazzy undertone to the background score that evokes old-school heist films. It's elegant, a little dangerous, and entirely fitting for an episode built on misdirection. The production design deserves mention. The penthouse crime scene is meticulously arranged. Too meticulously, as it turns out. Set decorators use minimalistic opulence to signal the kind of wealth that masks criminal behavior. When Home Invasion aired, it received strong reviews from fans and critics alike on platforms like IMDb and others. The episode was praised for its balance of procedural and personal storytelling. Fans were particularly intrigued by the return of Alex Hunter. His chemistry with Neil was considered even more engaging than his romantic tension with Kate. Some online discussions noted that this episode marked a turning point for the season. Up until this point, many episodes have been light, almost comedic in tone. Home Invasion introduced higher stakes, not just in terms of plot, but in terms of emotional weight. Critics lauded the show's willingness to blur genre lines. This wasn't just a crime procedural, it was a character study dressed up in white-collar fashion. Viewers appreciated how the series used a simple murder mystery setup to explore trust, trauma, and temptation. In the broader context of the show, this episode serves as a narrative hinge. Deepens the music box mystery, clarifies Neil's inner conflict, and sets the stage for future betrayals. It also subtly begins shifting the balance between Neil and Peter from a simple handler-criminal relationship to something far more personal and complicated. Over a decade later, Home Invasion remains one of White Collar's most satisfying and layered episodes. It's stylish without being shallow, smart without being smug, and emotional without resorting to melodrama. What makes it great isn't just the plot twist or the stolen artifacts, it's the emotional stakes. Excuse me. Every character wants something, every character is hiding something, and by the end, we're left with the uncomfortable truth that no one, not even our heroes, is entirely honest. This episode just doesn't tell a story, it deepens the mythology, challenges the characters, and rewards loyal viewers with nuance, suspense, and heart. If you're revisiting White Collar, or introducing it to someone new, episode 11 of season 1 is a standout showcase of what the show does best: con games, character drama, and classic crime storytelling. And that is our thoughts. It's season 1, episode 11, Home Invasion. Now I want to hear what you thought of this episode in the comment section below. And of course, if you want to support the channel, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/cinemagold. Give us a thumbs up if you like our video. Hit that subscribe button down below. The bell notification to be notified of future videos. And of course, we got to give a shout out to our sponsor, Audible. If you're looking for the best place to get audiobooks of any genre, and you want a free 30-day trial and a free audiobook that you can keep no matter what, head on over to audibletrial.com/Larry21. As always, thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll see you next time.